come together. Bless us and unify us, strengthen us. Then God, those who will come by, be tested, we pray that everything would be well. Have your way today. We love you. This is our prayer in Jesus' name. Amen.
I want to acknowledge and thank you, Pastor Collins, for those very strong words. Acknowledge Pastor Morrison of the New Faith Baptist Church, who, the visionary with those of vision who stand with him, felt compelled to be able to gather these leaders to be able to speak to the concern pastors in warning against premature opening of non-essential business and the call for testing. I thank him for his leadership. It's Pastor Morrison who will introduce the other pastors and as well our great community leaders who are here, and I will follow after them. Pastor Morrison, please.
To our honorable Congresswoman, who I would like to give a rousing applause at the forefront. She is tremendous, and I know she hears it quite a bit, but take it from fellow servants, you never hear thank you enough. We thank her for her sensibility to this area, to remaining fresh and innovative and concerning about this community. She's been dear to our hearts, and we thank her for all of her help. We're here at this site enjoying the many citizens getting tested because of her hard work. And so on the behalf of the members I represent and these pastors that are here today, thank you, Congresswoman. I want to introduce our speakers as well as those who are joining us today. I myself is M.D. Morrison Sr. I am M.D. Morrison Sr. of New Faith Baptist Church, Northeast. Also, we have Arthur G. Wiley, also of New Faith Baptist Church. We have Pastor Eric P. Trimble of the Revelation Missionary Baptist Church in Crosby. Pastor Louis Sidney of St. Paul Missionary Baptist Church. Pastor Raymond T. Collins of Mercy at Calvary Baptist Church, who just prayed for us. Dr. Edward Buford of the Sunrise Church. Apostle Zyphus Foster, the Church of Jesus Christ Globe Fellowship. Maurice Graves of Victory Mount Bethel Missionary Baptist Church. Pastor Ken Campbell of the Household of Faith Community Church. Pastor R.C. Bell of the Forest Lawn Missionary Baptist Church. We have Pastor Willie Claiborne Jr. of Greater Shiloh Baptist Church. We also have Pastor Lee Skinner of the Good Shepherd Missionary Baptist Church. We have Miss Kathy Gunther, who is a very well-capable and dependable source of resources in our community, and we thank God for her for being here as well. And if there are any that I've missed, I do apologize. Let me state from the forefront that we do not represent a left-wing agenda. We do not represent a right-wing agenda. We are preachers that represent God, and we stand on the side of righteousness. We do not stand on the side of any other platform than that of what God leads us to. And in light of the direction that we see our state government and other governments going as it relates to openings, as it relates to this notion that perhaps things are getting better and that the coast is clear as it relates to this virus, we want to stand and tell our community, simply stay home. Stay home. Continue to be safe. Continue to be vigilant. Continue to do the things that you have been doing. We see the numbers that it is the minority groups that are suffering the most economically as well as medically from this virus. And to hear of news of pushing us to restart the economy without at first diagnosing the health and the breadth and depth of this virus, to us is inhumane. Without having full knowledge of where this virus is, how long it will be here, how can we get rid of it, and at the same time push our people to get out and about and spend money. It is to us a horrible choice. It is a choice between morals and money. It is a choice between character and cash. It is a choice between luxury and love. And as preachers that represent God, we have no other choice than to stand against this and tell our people to continue to stay home. Also, we want to encourage our people to come and get tested. As we stand here on the grounds, of the historic Forest Brook Middle School, formerly known as Forest Brook High School, where my father graduated in 1973.
Here, here.
And so we want you to come and get tested. We have not scratched the surface of knowing the state of this community because the testing numbers are just not there yet. It is free. There is no screening needed. You just drive up and they will test you. You will get your results in a few days, whether by text message or a phone call. I myself have been tested on these grounds, and I'm happy that as of last Tuesday, I received a negative result from the testing. And so we speak to our community, come, get tested. Information is power. You may not have symptoms, but you may be a carrier. My friends, please come and get tested. There's more I could say, but I do want to yield the floor to our very capable preachers and pastors of this area. Our first speaker will be the Pastor Arthur Wiley, who's recently retired, served many years in the 5th Ward area. He's one of the engines behind this today, and so we yield the floor to him, Pastor Arthur Wiley.
Thank you so very much, Pastor Wiley.
To Congresswoman Shelia Jackson Lee, to Pastor Morrison, to all of the clergy who gather on these grounds today, we thank God for another expression of his love. My comments are to our state representative, our government, our governor, our lieutenant governor, to our local officials. We are not looking at this pandemic as though it is real. If we look at the Spanish pandemic of 1918, we will find out that during the first wave of the pandemic, that those of us who did not understand how to social distance ourselves, those of us who did not understand to cover our faces, those of us who did not understand what the virus was all about. During the 1918 Spanish pandemic, there was no way that they could have been able to test to see what was really causing it. They were not able to pull like we are today to find out what really causes. But then There was no cure then, and there is no cure now. And Governor Abbott, as we stand before you today, we say that it's too early to open up the city, too early to open up the state. We need to stay in place. You know, we need to think more of the people's health than we need to think about economics. It's all about economics with us. But I tell you that if we're dying from this pandemic, then there will not be able for us to spend money in the stores that's going to open up. We're asking you to do another executive order mandating that we would stay in place, stay home, and let the economy take care of itself. We need to be cured of this pandemic before we go out socializing with one another, opening up state parks. People will not heed to the 6 feet social distancing when they're at a park. The park across the street from my home on Tuesday was overflowing with people because they had not been able to get out. But then they were not social distancing themselves, and they were not wearing masks. We need to be careful, as we say to our people, stay home, take care of yourself. Don't let the money, stimulus money that the government has given us, make us go out and spend it. Hold on to it, because you're really going to need it. We pray that some of these words will help us. Let's not be a repeat of 1918. This will come back again to haunt us.
That's right.
The second round will come, the third round will come, and right now, Texas has only tested 1% of its population, and that's not enough for us to go back to business as normal.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Wiley. Thank you so much. We'll next hear from another great pastor in our area, the Pastor Kenneth Campbell of the Household of Faith Church. Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Pastor Morrison, and to my honorable Congresswoman, thank you for this opportunity to stand and speak to our people and encourage us. M. Scott Peck wrote a book years ago, bestseller, called The Road Less Traveled. And the premise of the book was the difference between success and failure many times results around the word discipline. The disciplined life is the less popular life, but in the end is the more successful life. And that's what I want to say to our people. I want to encourage us. Let's be disciplined. Let's not be so anxious to get back. We're all tired of being quarantined. We're all having cabin fever and want to get back to business as usual and enjoy some of the niceties of mobility that we had previously. But I want to encourage you, as Scripture says, wait on the Lord. Be of good cheer, and he shall comfort your heart. Don't be in a rush. They have this thing on TikTok now, don't rush. Yeah, don't rush getting back to the nail shops and the barber shops and the malls, and I certainly don't want to further injure those businesses. They need resources. Their families are struggling. But I implore you, our constituency, our makeup, our culture, our community has been more worstly affected. And so to get right back into the activities and the interactions that will make these numbers rise in our community is not wise. Listen, I'll leave you with this. Be patient, be diligent, be disciplined. You've stuck it out this long. You can wait a few more weeks, maybe a month, however long is necessary for this to pass over before we jump right back in and end up in a worse place. That's my real prayer. Then if you feel you have any symptoms, and even if you don't, this testing center has been available now for many weeks, and it's getting limited participation. There's no line. There's like 0 cars in line. All you have to do is drive up. You're in and out of here, most people in less than 15 minutes. And you can know how to guard yourself from your family and others if necessary so that you don't spread this any further, all right? So do that. Stay at home best you can. Those that are on the front line, stay safe, cover yourself, wash your hands, be as disciplined and diligent as you can so we can see this wave go down. And then the scripture says, I'm an old preacher, so let me throw that in.
Throw it in.
They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They'll mount up with wings as eagles. They'll run and not get weary. They'll walk and not faint. It'll be greater later if we practice discipline. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Campbell. Thank you so much. We will hear at this time from a great pastor in our community on Bon Air Street, right off of Northway side, the Pastor Lee Skinner of the Good Shepherd Missionary Baptist Church.
Bless you. On behalf of our community, we want to thank, first of all, Ms. Lee for allowing us this privilege to be able to speak and come together. Rev. Morrison, again, for bringing us together as you have. We are not here as pastors. We are not here at all to be the physicians. We're not here at all to be the politicians, because we believe that the physicians are doing their part. We believe the politicians are doing as well as they can. But we're here to say what Vice President Prince can't say. We're here to say sometimes what Ms. Lee can't say in this culture. We're here to say what Governor Abbott can't say. We're here to say what Ms. Hidalgo can't say. We're here to say what the mayor can't say. Our declaration is that God is in charge. That is our declaration. And so what we are here to encourage those of you that are listening to what we're saying is to understand that God is in charge, and God has given us a responsibility in ways to lead you all, to give you guidance, to tell you the truth, to give you the facts as to what is going on. So our encouragement, as all have already said, the main thing right now is getting tested. That's our main objective. Let's get tested, because I was here a week ago on Friday, and right before we came to this meeting, got the test results negative. Thank God for that. But I want to encourage you. It is not at all a difficult thing to do. It is not painful at all. Maybe a bit irritant, but it's not painful at all. So those of you that haven't come out, those of you that have some concerns, I'm going to ask you to trust your pastors. Trust what your pastors are saying to you. Trust what they are encouraging you to do as it relates to the concern for your life. Based on, again, the government, we are grateful, again, for our local leaders who are telling us that as a city, we're not ready, and we totally agree with that. We totally affirm that reality. So I want to encourage us, by all means, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, those of you that are listening, please, by all means, listen to what our mayor is sharing with us so that we can align with things as it need to be aligned, because at the end of the day, we've got to be convinced, and we're saying it over and over as preachers of the gospel, that God is in charge. And we want to let it be known that we're going to trust him, we're going to be led by him, we're going to be directed by him, and we're going to trust him with the final results as it relates to the coronavirus. Thank you for listening in. Pray God bless you.
Thank you, Pastor Skinner. And right before I yield the floor, I do want to emphasize a couple of things. Number one, your pastors, we are working on transportation and getting those that cannot get to the site. We are working on that along in collaboration with our Congresswoman, and we're making great ground with that. If you need transportation, please get in contact with your pastor, your local pastor, and I can almost guarantee you that we will get you here and back home safe and sound. And so I wanted to make mention of that. At this moment in time now, I'm going to yield the floor to our Honorable Congresswoman. Again, thank you for this platform. Thank you for your assistance. Thank you for being our champion.
These are wise men and women. I want to acknowledge R.C. Jones. I'm not sure if we were, and he's being, as they say, he's got our wonderful activists standing right by him. So we thank him, Mr. Jones. We appreciate it. We couldn't do it without you all. I'm going to I just landed from Washington, D.C., and I want to take a moment to thank Eagleton, our constable, who has been faithful here, along with his deputies, his constables. Lieutenant Evans, we thank you. We've been safe. That is the message to everyone. And by the way, the cars keep coming. but we want you to know that we have room for you to keep coming and keep coming and keep coming. And when I speak, you will understand why we want you to keep coming. It is a joy not to have the video that shows teeming hospital hallways and the deceased. I'm glad of that. But I think because people can't see, then they can't understand how deadly the coronavirus is. And it is deadly. And it takes a short time for people to be very, very ill. Yeah. And that's why our pastors, our leaders have come today to explain to you the depth of the seriousness of what we confront. I will be the last speaker, but I'm very glad that we're seeing the understanding of this crisis through the eyes of many great leaders. Judge Joe Stevens, who is the Justice of the Peace for Precinct 3, who has engaged with information and friends from across the world, who probably was one of the first to note that we had a crisis, is able to come via our technology, and I am delighted. We're going to work next week together to have nurses tell their story who are here in this community so people can understand how our first responders are under so much pressure in our neighborhood hospitals. And let us thank our law enforcement and firefighters and essential workers and postal persons for their leadership. But let me now allow Judge Stevens, if you would put the mic in front of him, please, the two of these. Judge Stevens, just a moment. Judge Joe Stevens, the Justice of the Peace for Precinct 3, will speak now. Judge?
It's too hot. My computer got too hot.
He's out?
Yeah, the computer needs to cool down. It's the sign.
Well, technology and heat will get him.
Let me cool it down for a second.
Technology and heat.
Hey, Judge, I'm going to put you on speaker, okay?
Okay.
All right, he's going to speak now. Speak as loud as you can, Judge.
I will. Can everybody hear me?
Let's see. Go ahead. Go ahead, Judge.
Okay, can everybody hear me?
The media can. We can pretty much.
Okay, look, I want to thank you all for having me. I'm sorry I couldn't be there in person. I stand with everyone that's there today. This virus has impacted me personally in a very real way. I currently have 3 friends that have died from coronavirus. I want to repeat, I've had 3 friends that have died from coronavirus. I just found out about one today, Lee Green, who's from here in Houston. I've had 3 friends on ventilators that have recovered. But ladies and gentlemen, this is no time to ease the requirements of the stay-at-home notice. We all need to shelter in place until we get more data on this virus. So I'm calling for more testing. Thank you to Congresswoman Lee for all that she's done in helping get federal resources to Houston. But we need even more testing. We cannot reopen without the adequate data so we know who's got it, who's had it, and who may be walking around asymptomatic and spreading it without us knowing that they actually have the virus. I was tested on April the 6th. It took me 10 days to get my results back. So we need even more testing so that everybody can know their status. And at which point we can get back to what's normal at that point. But again, I want to thank Congresswoman Lee. You guys, please be safe. Again, this virus is serious, it's deadly, and just stay safe. And Congresswoman Lee, thank you for all that you're doing. The powers that be, the governor, the mayor, let's try to do all we can to get some more testing in Houston. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Judge. Let me conclude with these very challenging comments. As I said, I just came in from Washington. I want to thank these pastors, and as I make these concluding remarks and open it up to questions, we fully understand that people are hurting economically. Yesterday I was interviewed and my words were taken on C-SPAN, and in the rush I said dollars over life. I want to make sure that everyone knows that why we are here today is because of life over dollars.
Yeah.
That's what we want to talk about. Life over dollars. And we are not in any way diminishing the mother with 5 children who's sitting in our food distribution lines, HISD and other school districts. They're not ignoring that. And I think what the pastors are saying, we're not going to leave you alone. We're not going to let you not be able to eat. And so this is the stark reality. We know other people are languishing. We know that there is crisis among all groups. But this is the number for African Americans in Northeast, in the nation. We're only 14%. Some people have said we're 13%. But we're now 33% of COVID-19 deaths. 1 week in Houston, though I applaud our local officials, about 3 weeks ago, 11 people died. 7 of them were from the minority community, in this instance, African Americans, 64%. It hits Hispanics and African Americans much harder than anyone else. And so this is a life-saving measure. I want my small businesses to know that we stand ready to fight for you. We have added an extra $60 billion, it's $370 billion to get back to our small businesses. We have put the money in small banks. You can go to your state or federal credit union, check out your credit union to make it easier for the mom and pops to get this money. You need to be there now. You need to be online. You need to let us know if banks are pushing you back. They have no right. There is nothing in the law that we pass, Republicans or Democrats, that have told them to put credit card, loan, or having an account. You may choose to go to that bank and have an account, but that is not a requirement. And it is not a requirement for you to be known. You have to tell the truth. I don't expect for you to tell an untruth on the forms. The bank can vet you and say you meet the standards or not. But they have no right to stop you at the door and say that you cannot come. It breaks my heart. That's why people are anxious. I got to get to work. Because of money we have sent, people are blocking it. So today, just like the shake business and Ruth Chris, there are $680 million that went to people who have the ability to get money on the open capital market.
That's right.
I want them to return it now. I'm not against you, but if you can go to the open capital markets, don't let the little guys who are in these neighborhoods from southwest to northwest, to northeast to southeast, from the Woodlands all the way to Sunnyside, small businesses from the east to the west. Let them get a break. Our restaurants, beauty shops, barber shops, doctor's offices, dental offices, let them get a break. So that's one thing that we're going to fight for. Nothing in the law requires that discrimination. But we have put in, as I said, an extra $60 billion just for the little guys, going to the banks whose assets are under $10 billion and going to the banks that are between $10 billion and $50 billion. Let's find those banks now. I'm not advertising a name. I'm just saying if the big guys got a stop sign, we have just put more money in to help the little guys. And as you well know, the PPP program, payroll protection, can help faith institutions, but also the EIDL, We put an extra $50 billion in that and an extra $10 billion for the advanced cash. We know it's slow. We know somebody said they've been waiting for weeks. Keep pressing. You can get on the line for SBA. You can reach out to those of us who are elected, who are your congresspeople. That's what we're here for. We've just put the money and the president signed it today. We have given hospitals more money so that they are not penalized for advance payments. We know that they have changed their whole protocol of medicine. And yes, we have allowed elective surgery where you can guarantee the patient will be safe. But we've given because of your fight, your fighting, your fight, and because of Raheel and UMMC, we have been able to give, if you will, extra money for testing. Extra money for testing because we have proved no charge that we're committed to helping people.
That's right.
And centers around the nation have stuck their neck out and done the same thing. And so money for testing means that we will have money for contact tracing. Who's got it? Where is it? We'll get a better understanding of antibodies. Let me explain. Having antibodies does not mean you're immune. I don't pretend to be a doctor or scientist, but I read and I listen and I understand. But it is good to know. But it doesn't mean that you can now go out and do anything you want to do. That's why we are not ready. This Small Business and Health Enhancement Act is going to be part of a larger funding that we will do in the coming future. And we're going to be listening to you. Let me give you these points, and you'll know why we're not ready, pastors. You are visionaries. This doesn't help you. You're going to have some members calling up and say, that wasn't you standing there, was it? Because they think it's a personal punishment. It's not. Meat processing plants, at least 17 meat processing plants shut down because of the coronavirus. Both the workers processing your meat. We're not ready. They were not tested. And because of the close quarters, they gave it to each other. 17. We eat meat in this country. We love our farmers. By the way, our farmers have been added in this bill. I'm a big farming person. I'm not even on a farm, but I support them when I do legislation because I believe in our small farmers. That's how we're the breadbasket. There's an outbreak in homeless shelters. We're not ready. We don't know what is going on with our homeless population. And if I might, I'm not a preacher either, but they're God's children. In a report today that I just got off the phone, we've done 1.5 million tests in America with over 300 million people. 1.5 million. Why? Because people were calling it a hoax. People were calling it a hoax just about 6 weeks ago. We know it is not a hoax. Not a hoax. 1.5 million. So with this 25 billion, we've got to get out there. We've got to tell folk to keep coming. They are coming in Cullen Middle School. They are coming here. But they need to come quickly. The more we know, the more we will be able to move this city and county forward. The mayor and the county judge are seeking testing. I give them credit. They've got sites open. They need to see our communities take advantage of it. You are in the eye of the storm. The CDC has put out a lot of money, Centers for Disease Control, to get out from what we have given, to get out the information that is necessary. So I've already said that we need to take this very seriously. I know the prayers of the righteous availeth much. But my grandmother told me that he said, be busy until he comes. And we can't sit around and say and do nothing, and when I say sit around and do nothing, about our own protection, wearing a mask, keeping our distance, understanding the symptoms that are conspicuous, a cough, a constant cough, a temperature that is above 99 for adults, and you can't breathe, which then you call a medical professional. But if we see grandma, and this pastor has been fighting to help our seniors, we're reaching out to be able to transport them. Pastor, do you want me to? He will expand on it. But where we have been looking to test, I think you all should understand that a facility that we've been looking to test, where seniors are, we've just got word that 3 have passed away. Untested. Because the process is not moving fast enough. So in Washington yesterday, I called for a protocol to test all nursing homes throughout the nation and to insist that these nursing homes open themselves up to some protocols for testing. In this community alone, UMC that has been testing has found some very challenging numbers in the nursing homes in this arena. Finally, we need to test all essential workers. When I say that, let them come on. Employers that are with your employees, send them on. I know there is another economic factor. If they find out that they're positive, then I don't have them working. And the employees are concerned. But you have, by the federal government, 2 weeks of paid leave. That's 14 days. We want you healthy. We don't want you spreading it to your fellow employees. The cash register person who is an essential. She's supporting her family. He's supporting a family. And he's spreading it, or she's spreading it, or not taking care of himself or herself. We don't want them punished or penalized. We don't want postal workers punished or penalized. That's why we have to have a protocol to ensure. And just to give you a number, as I call for national testing protocol for nursing homes and essential workers, there have been over 10,000 deaths in nursing homes alone all over America. The surge in deaths accounts for about 20% of all coronavirus fatalities in the nation. The nursing home accounts for 20% of the fatalities, and we don't know where it's going to end. These are our elders, and they're living in these facilities all throughout our community. So, my friends, this is a moment of sacrifice, for no one wants to be in the limelight for blocking someone's economic needs. But when you hear about the deaths, no matter what racial background you are, but high numbers in communities of color, when you know already that seniors were the initial target of being most vulnerable to coronavirus, then it took a detour, and it has now attacked young people in their 20s and 30s and 40s, younger family members. So many have buried a lot. Came to my attention by Reverend Barber out of North Carolina. He knew a family who had 7 persons. Members of Congress have announced the loss of their relatives. We're no better and no different than anybody else. Some of our relatives are suffering from it right now. So I couldn't appreciate you all more than to say we brought the money, We're going to be testing. We're going to find you where you are. Mobile units are coming. And it is certainly important to know that this is done out of love and respect for science and the medical professionals who should guide us. I'd like Raheel to come, and before I leave the microphone and then ask Pastor Morrison to come and take questions, please note, no one use a disinfectant to put in their personal body.
Here, here.
We have no documentation that lasers and any kind of disinfectant is going to be of value. All we know that disinfectant in our households kill things. And that's what we want to use it for, kill germs. But I have no proof and no documentation that it can kill anything else or cure anything else or be a cure. Only thing we know that it does is it kills. If there's further evidence, it will be noted by the scientists and the doctors. But I feel confident to tell our community, no matter who you are and where you live, leave the disinfectant alone. Don't doctor yourself. It is not a personal medicine. It is to be used for whatever it says on the can or bottle. And that is it. We know that certain people took the hydroxychloroquine and some died. Let us follow the rules through our medical leadership. Raheel, let me thank you for UMMC and this site.
Thank you so much, Congresswoman. Thank you for having us. I really appreciate everybody come out here and putting the word out in the community. The test it's the first line of defense, guys. We have to know that we have a problem in order to solve anything. So please come out. Please get tested. We have plenty of kits. We have plenty of time. We have plenty of patience. Please come out here. We'll be out here from 10 to 5, Monday through Friday. So please come out. Hope to see y'all.
Thank you. Thank you. Everybody needs to know we're doing about 1,000 a day across our testing network, almost 100, almost 200 a day. So understand that they keep coming in and we wind up with our numbers. So please understand that. And we want more numbers to come because we're frightened about these statistics that I've just given you. It's important to acknowledge the work that our pastors have done, Pastor Morrison and Pastor Skinner and Pastor Wiley. I don't know why I'm calling, but Pastor Wiley, thank you for your vision, and we appreciate it. You look like a young man ready to take on another church. But thank you, Pastor, very much. Pastor Morrison.
Thank you. Right before we address any questions, I'd like to say that that incident that was just reported to us, the number we understand is 4 elders we have lost. To our knowledge, they did want to be tested, did not have transportation, and in the process of us trying to get that transportation, we lost them. Just want to highlight the sincerity of the matter. We're working hard, and if you desire a test, please let someone know. You can feel free to let us know. For those that can get here, 7525 Tidwell Road. 7525 Tidwell Road. Come here and get tested, no problem, okay? All right, are there any questions?
What are the statistics from this location of the number of people that have been tested? What are the results and what week are we on? We know that the test labs are being behind when we get the results.
Come on, Congressman.
So based on the numbers, how do we pull those stats? Where are they? How Well, we wouldn't have those numbers because what we have are numbers of testing, and negative and positive. We give those to the CDC and the city and the county, and they merge. And so we know that we've had 82 deaths to date, about 5,000, 82 deaths in Houston and Harris County to date, April 24th, and we've had about 5,000 that are tested. I wouldn't make the point that they're lagging. We're testing about 1,000 a day, and individuals who are positive, they are quick to get their test back, and we make sure that we call everybody, and in order to call everybody, we obviously prioritize those who may need medical care. So that covers all of our sites, and we know that the percentage of those who have tested positive amongst the time that we've done it is somewhere between 8. It's if I can recall the numbers that were given to me, 10% are positive, 10% above are positive.
Do you know the number of people that are tested from inside?
Is this 3,000 over 3 weeks?
3,000?
Over 3 weeks.
About 10% of those are tested?
No, it's across the area. We have several sites.
I was mostly concerned about this side, but this covers most of the nursing and the starting classes in here because of this community out here. So I was just trying to get a nice idea of the community. How many people have tested, how many deaths have we had in this community?
We merge those numbers just like the city does into the whole number. So we haven't broken it down, no. But the good news is that 3,000 have been tested over a 3-week period. Okay. Any other questions? So let me.
The businesses for the funding stated that 60 billion has been allocated for
The smaller banks.
small business, right?
No, the smaller lending institutions that may be more friendly, because you have to use the banks for the PPP. The EIDL, which is a loan program, and the 10,000 advance, that's SBA. But to get a PPP, meaning you protect your employees and pay utilities and mortgage, you have to go to a bank. And the big banks were not being friendly to the small businesses. So now we've opened it up to much smaller banks that have assets under 10 billion and those between 10 billion and 50 billion. Those are banks that include state and federal credit unions. That's a big deal. Minority banks and small lending associations that these various businesses can go to. So they can get on the website to look PPP, look up minority banks. To my knowledge, we have one here in Houston, Unity Bank. That's giving them an opportunity. They can ask the SBA of the list of other institutions in this area. But again, it means that small entities can go to smaller banks, and they will welcome their business. I hope that's what we intended. We don't want banks pushing people away, and we don't want them putting criteria in that we did not write in the legislation. Good? Thank you so very much. Thank you all so very much. Any questions, gentlemen? Thank you all so very much.